Welcome to the channel's book club. Thank you for joining us. We are very excited about the rising number of book reading events springing up in and around a few important Nigerian cities, especially Lagos, southwest of Nigeria. Today's episode focuses mainly on a fascinating one we attended last weekend. Traditionally, the book reading events in Lagos take place in bookshops and libraries. This one took place in an art gallery. Enjoy the report on how it went.
She knew she had hit a soft spot.
Book reading events are springing up on a weekly basis in Nigeria these days.
You're sounding insane, HK said.
Could this be a sign of a literary renaissance?
You really think
Well, we have to leave very soon.
Perhaps. Relay Gallery, a promoter of the arts in Nigeria, recently took things up a notch with an exciting book reading event in Lagos, southwest Nigeria.
It's actually written in text.
For a country widely believed to possess a poor reading culture, the turnout was quite impressive. Readers and writers were present to enjoy an evening of literature. The guest authors were the exceptional Tony Khan, author of the fiction novel Night of the Creaking Bed, and Victor Ehikhamenor, author of the creative non-fiction titled Excuse Me. They were supposed to be up for a friendly banter, books, rather than gloves in hand.
Twitter flirts and other forms of instant messaging. Those are like pissing.
Victor read from his book.
I'm talking about a real love letter written on special stationery with droplets of sensorobia perfume sprinkled on. I'm talking about the sort that makes your heart pound against your rib cage, like the ones that set me on fire in my village as a youth. I don't know about city boys, but the act of love letter writing taught me more English language than my so-called English teacher, who expected me to understand a foreign language taught in Esan. Someone once told me city boys never wrote love letters to girls. They used telephones to communicate their heart's intentions. Well, back in the village, we never saw a telephone, not to talk of using one. All we understood about telephone in the village was a reenactment of Alexander Bell's first version of tying a thread from one empty Tomapep can to another pig milk can. And honestly, no village girl had the time to put a rusty can on her ear to hear a voice blab. So we crafted love letters. Right from time, the village boy understands the fact that the village girl is a delicate explosive that must be detonated carefully from a safe distance. And the best way around this is a love letter, whose crafting and editing is more rigorous than writing a letter of intent to Harvard Business School. Love letters writing was an art taken very seriously. There were really no textbooks for reference at that age, and it wasn't in the school curriculum either. But I was lucky enough to discover my older brother's exercise book where he practiced his earlier attempts that had words like sugar and tea. Though he only ate roasted yam and oil to the best of my knowledge, and his later ones that were much more successful with big words like doxology and chronology. Love letters were so important that even school bullies and brutes had to eventually write one, although they thought otherwise initially. The village bully starts out by telling the village girl, "I like you." And the village girl follows with this uncouth approach with a long hiss that dries her entire saliva and sounds like a very dangerous snake. The bully takes this as an insult and lays her under a frangipani or a mango tree and delivers one or two unprovoked slaps. The village girl, who is not easily terrorized, grabs his shirt and tears it to shreds while shouting like Tina Turner in a London rock concert. When elders and passers-by gather to berate him, he knows he has scuttled his chance of winning the girl's heart. And if he's sensible enough, he knows his only chance of ever endearing himself to the girl again is through a well-written and thoroughly edited love letter. Why a love letter instead of direct approach, you may ask? Well, in the village, we did not have money to steal our hearts and steal the hearts of girls we fell in love with. There was a certain fear excitement that was greener than chlorophyll, which gripped a young boy's heart when he encountered a beautiful girl he liked. His knees would buckle and oftentimes melted like a wax sculpture left too long in the sun. When in this state, his tongue usually cleaved to the roof of his mouth, and words beyond could no longer be formed by his brain. A good love letter took us 3 weeks or more to compose, edit, and deliver. Everything about the letter was very important, from the salutation to the conclusion, and most importantly, you have to have a few big words borrowed from Michael West's dictionary, and a killer nickname. My dearest Magdalene, I hope this letter meets you in good condition of health. If so, dissolve it. I know you are wondering why on a clear blue sky day like today you are receiving this missive from me. Well, wonder no more, because you are the only flower blooming in the garden of love this afternoon. And in the night you are the only moon that makes the sky bright. I want to use this missive to let you know how much you mean to the life of my existence. If loving you is a crime, I want to be guilty. If loving you is a sin, I refuse to repent. My love for you is as constant as the northern star. Until now, I have been drinking tea without sugar, but your beauty is sweeter than honey. All I'm saying is I want you to be mine forever, because I can no longer live without you. Please, I hope you consider this humble and simple request, because my life will never be the same again if you say no. I anticipate your favorable reply very soon, please. Yours and Ole Velasco de Hill. The love letter was never delivered by the writer. If he had delivered to deliver a letter, he would have spoken directly in the first place. There was always a loyal friend, a fearless student, a paid delivery imbecile. A school father or school mother who acted as postmaster and go-between. And this postmaster had to be trustworthy, because a love letter, if properly delivered, could make everything go awry. One of mine landed in the principal's office because I unknowingly sent him through the girl's sworn enemy.